we are here from all corners of the globe to celebrate our collective passion for the thoroughbred. The objectives for the next 2 days are to create a platform for discussion and education and to position IFAR on the international stage. We would like this forum to serve as a launch pad for sharing best practices, creating and building on networks, while recognizing that this is one of the single greatest issues facing the health and future of our industry. If there is time after each presentation, we will allow for questions after each speaker. That is, of course, providing we are running on time, which we're already not running on time. So, we have a lot to get through. If we can all make sure that our cell phones are on vibrate, let's crack on. First up today, I would like to introduce a powerful duo in the aftercare world, Arbuthnot and Diana Cooper. Di is the Chief Executive of Retraining of Racehorses, British horse racing's official charity of the welfare of retired racehorses. Di has been directing the charity's progress since 2002. Most recently, Di has become the chair of the IFAR steering group. Her knowledge and passion have been instrumental in the formation of IFAR. Diana is another key member of the IFAR steering committee. Representing His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's thoroughbred interests for the last 20 years, she leads the Godolphin Global Charities Program. The program's objective is to create greater awareness, passion, and care for the thoroughbred horse, and to have a positive, long-lasting impact on the thoroughbred industry and the communities local to Godolphin facilities worldwide. Ladies.
Thank you, Katie. It's so exciting to be here. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. You know, this is something we dreamt of 3 years ago over a cup of coffee. You know, well, let's do something about this. And Diana said, yeah, let's do something about it. And here we are via Kentucky and Newmarket. We're here today in the capital, Washington. This is great. So thank you all for attending. Now we're just going to show a short video about why we're all here.
The International Forum for Aftercare of Racehorses was established earlier this year. The Jockey Club's a proud member. There's a number of organizations around the world that have immediately begun to support it. We see aftercare as a hugely important issue for this industry. Horses live a long time, and we want to make sure that they're provided the best care and welfare for the rest of their lives.
This group of people have really put their heads together, and they've come up with the name and the concept of the International Forum for the Aftercare of Racehorses, and it's exciting. This is about moving forward in this space to making sure that we can tell our stories and making sure that the welfare of horses remains our #1 priority.
The industry that we're specifically involved in here with Godolphin is the thoroughbred racing industry. It's completely international, and the aftercare providers, the governing bodies, we all understand that these horses are our future, and we have a real responsibility of duty of care to them as well.
The very important thing is that obviously we all work together, because otherwise we're reinventing the wheel the whole time, and there's great advances made in some countries that we can all learn from. If we don't do this, it is a big risk to our sport. We're passionate about the horses, we're passionate about racing, and if we don't really get a grip of this globally, then that is a major risk to us.
Someone once told me a while ago, someone who's involved in animal welfare, and they said, we want horses to have jobs, because when horses have jobs, they're going to be well cared for. They're not going to be an afterthought. And that's one of the reasons why we so much support IFAR and other organizations that have those common goals.
The mission. Now, there was much discussion about this, and I mean much discussion, over several conference calls. And we came up with this statement, which is pretty obvious, really, to promote the care of the thoroughbred horses during their lifetime. During their lifetime, welfare all the way through. And then we got on to the objectives. Now, we had a steering group to come up with this, a very small, very select team of bright people, minus the chair, I might add. And the two key, of course, who put the show on today, Jim and Andrew from the US Jockey Club. And then Elliot, I'm looking at Elliot. Now, Elliot, you get the most traveled for actually coming to these various gatherings. And you're the one that when you should be drinking your third glass of wine at night, we're on the phone. So you get the award, okay? Jamie, no, Jamie, you're in the same country, so that's fine. And of course, Diana. So we've got a golden team for putting this on the road. So what are our objectives? To share best practice. Now that's fairly obvious because we all will be doing things differently. There's culture differences, problems or differences in each different countries. And my goodness, over the last 15 years, we at home have made mistakes. We've learnt from them, but we have made mistakes. And that's the sort of thing we can share together of the mistakes and the successes we all make. The next one, to raise awareness. Well, that's fairly obvious again, because if you've got good stories, you've got to raise that awareness of what's going on. And we need to tell the public, the racing community, the equestrian world of what's going on with these horses. They're talented and highly intelligent, and they really can do another job if suitable to do so. And there is all those after, their whole, from start to finish, what they do after their racing days are finished. And then to create our commitment to welfare. Well, again, that's obvious. Welfare, I think, is the one thing that racing faces and we've really got to face up to. Every country has to be aware that there are people out there that don't think racing should exist. So we have to raise this issue and fight it. Sowing the seed for IFAR. Well, that was a question of what happens when they leave home? Where do they go when they're racing somewhere? But what happens then? And so that was the sowing of the seed. And looking at this slide, the French, and you'll hear from Lisa Jane later, they have made incredible strides. I was lucky enough to go to Japan 3 weeks ago and try and explain what we do at home to get this message across. So that, again, is discussion. This is a forum for discussion.
Most of you, or a lot of you, will know about Godolphin, but I just need to place us here in the room and explain why, indeed, we are so keen to be here and help this subject along its way. As Godolphin is a thoroughbred, it's a global thoroughbred breeding and horse racing operation founded by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed almost 25 years ago now. We have facilities in America, Australia, Dubai, France, Ireland, Japan, and the United Kingdom. Godolphin and what is now its stallion entity Dali were established because His Highness's passion for horses is paramount. This isn't just a passion for racing and breeding, it extends to their lifetime care. So, what does lifetime care mean for us in-house in Godolphin? The first steps were taken many seasons ago with the establishment of a rehoming program across all the territories in which we operate. We are all lucky to be able to look after and enjoy the horses that we can retain in a long and happy retirement. But when the Godolphin Charity Global Program was established, we looked at the biggest issues facing the sport today, and aftercare was right up there amongst them. The natural progression was then to focus on the horses that we are responsible for breeding and creating through our stallions, but cannot retain. What happens to them in whichever racing jurisdiction they end up around the world? At the first Godolphin Forum in Lexington in 2015, we were able to host key advocates of thoroughbred aftercare to facilitate the beginnings of this network. There was an instant desire to share information on the current aftercare systems, and the important outcome was that in order to progress towards the development of realistic levels of best practice, we all need to create greater awareness and work in conjunction with each other. As Di touched on, a wonderful example of progress already is that 3 of the countries represented in Lexington that did not have an organized, structured program for thoroughbred aftercare with leadership from their industry. Fast forward to today, and 2 of them are here to present to us and share all the results they've accomplished in the interim. Looking forward to that. Here we go. So, in July last year, we built on the beginnings of this network from Lexington in 2015, but we went a very large step further. The team of aftercare providers from Lexington returned to Newmarket and was joined in one room for the first time ever by racing's governing bodies from the same countries where a cohesive approach was then attained. This is where we are today, and we're looking forward very much to being able to continue the momentum, and I'll pass you back to Di.
The vision for 2020. Well, this will be available to you all after the conference. There is a vision, but the vision must be that every single one of the 66 racing jurisdictions have an aftercare program. And that's the vision, and how we get there over the next 3 years or further. Thank you very much, and please enjoy the rest of the speakers.